folks. It is the after hours.
We're working on the name.
After hours show, yeah. This is when we, fuck around and
Find out.
And find out. Yes. I'm Sako Toomey. If you're here, you probably already know who I am, but I do a bunch of stuff, and it usually pertains to horror in some capacity, and that's me.
I'm the moon, the doer of things, which I almost added to a little thing in the corner. The moon, doer of things. I might do that next week because it's funny, and that's literally what I do. I'm a doer of things. Things happen, and then I do them. Sounds bad, but also true.
There you go.
Hey. So yeah, this is the part where we do extra shit after we've done the show. If for whatever reason you're watching this, you haven't watched the episode that goes with it, why not? Okay. But this is where Sako's at Balticon in Baltimore, Maryland, Balticon 58, and she's the doer of things there, all things flashy with the camera, flashy with the camera. Calm down. She's married. Behave. You right there. Behave. See you. Don't do it. You're okay. Not you. So what we did last time, we had this idea at the end of season 1. We thought about doing some extra content because why not? And last week, I got spontaneously interviewed on the fly. I love it. I actually like to be interviewed. I like to answer questions. That probably comes from like the game show nerd in me. I just like to answer questions. And if they're about me, I probably know the answer. Not guaranteed, but I probably know the answers. So this time, I'm going to be asking questions to her. I found some random questions on the internet. I don't know what they are yet, so we're just going to figure them all out. But they are author interview questions. Okay.
Oh, watch them be the same questions.
They might be. So we're just going to.
That would be amazing. That would tickle me pink.
It was so long ago, like 7 whole entire days.
7 whole entire days.
Like whole entire American days.
Time has been crawling for me. I don't know if it's crawling for you too, but like
eating past.
Except for that last episode, like that word by for me.
It's almost June. You realize that?
Next week?
Yeah, it's almost June.
Happy Memorial Day.
I feel like
you want to say that. May. My condolences? I don't know what to say on
it's
Memorial.
Like, hey, okay, there's a lot of jokes I can make there. I'm just going not to because of just sensitivities. But Memorial Day is a weird
thing. Show. What are you afraid of?
Not afraid. I don't do fear. But fuck it. It's like Happy Your Soldier's Dead Day. See, it's insensitive.
Yeah, it's not it doesn't add up. Yeah.
See, that's why I wasn't gonna do it. But see, Sako made me do it.
Sako made me do it.
You know what's funny? I have a friend and she has a shirt that says the moon made me do it. Not my shirt, but she wears it every time we go out. Just in case she gets into something, she's wearing a shirt that says the moon made me do it.
The moon made me do it. I'm wearing my Wallace shirt today.
What is Wallace?
Wallace Corporation bought out the Tyrell Corporation in Blade Runner.
Okay. I didn't see Blade Runner. I suck.
Or was it Alien? It might have been Alien. It was a Loot Crate shirt.
Well, there you go. That's all I meant. I am
3 in
supporting.
some capacity.
I am supporting our boys at thenecronoma.com. This particular design of the T-shirt. There you go. Celebrate with the fireworks. There it is. This particular T-shirt they were doing for uh, Pride. I forgot the name of the artist that did this rendition, but I do know that there was a trans community organization that the proceeds for this particular shirt went to, and so that's why I
You know
bought
what's you know what's amazing is that those are the pan colors, and today happens to be Pansexual Visibility Day.
it. There you go. So to all pansexual people, we see you. Unless you're John Cena, then we can't see you.
Them kids.
Can't see him. Unless he's pan all of a sudden, then yes, sir, we can see you.
All right, so what's the first question?
Okay, I mean they're easy enough. What's your favorite book?
I have 2.
Okay,
One is called Sunglasses After Dark by Nancy Collins, which is a vampire story. From before she was sired to like basically her facing down a evangelist, which is like super keen. There's all kinds of cool like supernatural stuff going on in the, and it was the first book that introduced me to anything paranormal, right?
okay.
So that
You got
was
that significant
it
moment
was
right there in
it
the
was
field.
integral to me as a writer, integral to me as a horror fan, integral to me in a very personal way. There are some situations that I'm like, I would probably act similarly. Just saying. The other book is Never Ending Story by Michael Ende.
Hurry.
Yep, the movie only covers half the book. So read the book. It's so much better. In
I
fact, the
don't
movie
remember the
took out
movie.
my favorite scene regarding the first half of the book.
I don't even
Um,
remember the movie. It's been that long since I've seen it. I remember the flying white dog.
the Luck
That's
Dragon.
all,
Yeah.
that's all I remember is the flying dog looking thing. What is I like this one better. Like, when did you start writing? Like, when was writing? But one, when did you start writing originally? We all started writing as kids, but when did you start
For sure.
writing like seriously? Let me ask you like that in a 2-part.
Okay, so I started writing at all in first grade because it was part of school, right? We had to put together books and then fill the books with information, and did it again in second grade. And then, I was writing for school like every year after that. Sixth grade, I started writing chain stories with my friends.
Okay, can you explain these?
Um, so chain stories are basically you write in uh, moving the story forward would be nice. Writing uh, a scene and much like role playing, and then you hand it off to your co-writers, one of them, of course, and then they hand it off, and then they hand it off, and you know. So kind of like chain letters, but for stories.
I like that. So, are there any
It's
stories
archaic now. I don't know that anybody does it anymore, but
they should?
yeah.
Maybe
So
maybe
that
we'll
was
get like
sixth
a
grade.
notebook. We'll get a notebook and we'll start something and we'll like just hand it around Imaginarium and try to get it back by the end and just see what happens in
Oh
this
my God,
ridiculous story.
idea. Chain horror story.
Like you write something and then pass it to me, and I write like a couple paragraphs or a half page or whatever, and then pass it on to Tommy. It's like, hey, if you got a minute, just write what's next, just something small, and then pass it off to this person and this person, and then maybe we can find an author that's not in the genre and see what like a fantasy or a sci-fi author will throw in there. Could be hilarious.
Or a romance author. That would be fun.
Ooh, that'd be really fun. We'll see what happens with that chainsaw wielding murderer and the slasher person from down the street. See what happens to them when they get it. Romance author gets a hold of them.
Yeah.
All right, so that was 6th grade.
So that was 6th grade. And then in 2007, I wrote my first script. It was my zombie book, which is a graphic novel called Contingency Plan, which I'm porting over into Scrivener so I can edit it. And then 2011, I decided to write my first, or not write my first, no, yeah, write my first book. And I spent 9 years writing it, learning my craft, like updating the book as I went. And then in 2020, I released Hope's Chest.
So you said you spent 9 years working on that.
I spent 9 years working on Hope's Chest.
How did you stay motivated for 9 years on one project?
Honestly, I didn't. Instead, I would write on one story, and then I'd write on another story, and then I'd write on another story, and I'd never finish any of them. So in 2020, I was like, whichever is furthest along, I'll release.
That sounds like
So
every author that's
Hope's
being honest with
Chest was the furthest along at the time. So I decided to, and nothing was more gratifying than being able to write the end.
it is so
The thing, and it
powerful.
didn't react on me. That's awesome.
There is something magical about writing the end. It's like it is finished.
Mm-hmm.
You
Break
just
out the
finish it.
champagne, yeah,
Right.
or the
So
whiskey, whichever.
both. Preferably not at the same time. Just stay near the toilet. Um, so you said, are you bringing contingency plan over now, and you're going to work on that?
So I'm importing it like in my free time.
Because you have so much of it.
I try to have lots of it. Now the downside is I'm giving myself stuff to work on when I'm not supposed to be working,
Which was the
which is
point I was trying
kind
to
of
make.
defeats the purpose of taking time off.
But
But shout out to all the horror writers that have a day job. Like,
I don't know
we're
how they do
thinking,
it.
we're thinking for you.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
Yeah, like you do one or the other. Like,
Yeah. It's like you either write or you work. And I know that a lot of people make that work out because they, have to. But I feel for them because acknowledging they're up till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, turning around, waking up at 7 and being at work again by 9.
yeah,
Kudos to you.
kudos to you.
So, what does your day to day look like since we're talking about schedules?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I wake up at about 8. drink coffee, smoke my cigarette, check my messages. 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I work on 3 projects, one of which is client work, which usually takes up the lion's share of the time. At 3 o'clock, I clock out by smoking a bowl. Because when I am high, I cannot draw. And writing becomes difficult.
What?
Yeah. So, and then I eat somewhere between 7:30 and 9:30, and I work some more. So I don't know, like that gap between 8 and 10, sometimes I'll start work early and end at like 1. Unless I wake up at like 4 and decide to work from like 6 to 11 or whatever. All right. So my hours are malleable.
Naturally, yeah.
As long as I put in 5 hours or more, because I know usually between 9 and 11 p.m. I'm occupied by something.
Fair.
So
That's fair.
So that is, and then weekends I have off usually. Sometimes I have a show, sometimes I have a con, but lion's share of weekends I can nap, watch X-Men, like
I've not
take in content as opposed to making content.
I've not picked that show up yet. X-Men 97.
You should.
I intend to.
It's so good.
I just haven't done it yet. I want to make sure I'm sitting in a space where I can focus on it, and if I decide I want to binge, that I can. But most of the days, like okay, tonight.
I don't think you could handle. I don't think I could handle watching more than one episode in a sitting. Like, it is an emotional roller coaster.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, go easy on yourself when it comes to. You definitely devote the time to it, but
Right.
like split up the sessions.
Noted. Okay. All right. So, okay, we'll just go into that real quick. Take away from the writing. What's your favorite show / favorite thing to watch?
X-Men 97. There is a show called Marianne on Netflix that is this generation's French horror. Like, it doesn't count on jump scares. The things that happen are genuinely terrifying. Like, everything is too big, everything is overwhelming.
Yeah.
It handles horror in a way that I haven't seen in cinema, and I tout it every time I am asked for a Netflix show.
Noted. Good. I don't have Netflix, but when I do, I'll need it here soon because wrestling will be on Netflix. So I'll have to get it. Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the WWE they're doing they recently did their television deals, and the network that won Monday Night Raw was Netflix.
Oh,
so Netflix is going to have Monday Night Raw live every week from 8 to 11, and of course it'll be available, I assume, immediately
after that,
rewatch on Netflix. But right now
they're starting to do streams on
Hulu.
Netflix.
Yeah, like a day on Hulu or something like that, or like a couple of days before it ends up on Peacock. But you can watch it. Come after work at 11:30. Miss the whole show. It's right there on Netflix. No need to DVR it either. That's also a big thing. But Marianne, I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably send a link or something. And
Dig. So describe to me your workspace. Do you have any little trinkets? Like where you do your thing at home, like your work, your office essentially. Is it like a
okay,
desk,
so
like a
I have
table?
two
Do you have like
places where I work.
you have like
Three
fancy little
places
statues?
technically. I have three places where I work. I have a desk in the basement in the studio.
Okay.
Uh, I tend not to hang out there because I can't have calls there. I can't do streams there. And that's most of my week, right? So I am either in the living room, which the empty space between the recliner and the couch, I make a nest. I have like floor pillows and uh, papasan cushions and blankets, and it's a blanket fort without the fort part.
Right.
And I have the desk upstairs, which you guys have seen, like
That's where most of the
mostly
shows
for this show. Um, so sometimes I'll, excuse me, sometimes I will make a blanket fort, and that will become my office. I get a lot done in a blanket fort for some reason. I don't know why. Um, so that, as far as like trinkets and such, um, I know I have some sculptures and some. I have a whole shelf full of like busts and action figures and little statues and stuff like that. Um, Featuring like X-Men and Walking Dead and more X-Men, Domino from Kabuki.
What is it about that sort of non-traditional office space, the the, the blanket fort and set up in that space? Does that add to your creativity as you're working?
It sure does.
How?
I have no idea. It Like, I am a Taurus, and being comfy is my jam. So my favorite place is in the blanket fort. If I were to choose like an ideal place to have an office for a couple of days, like take a weekend and work on whatever the hell I want, as opposed to like my goals that I set back in, quarter one slash beginning of quarter two.
So you mentioned quarter one and quarter two, and I know you have that book that you keep your goals in. Does that help keep you motivated on all your goals for the week?
Yes.
Can you tell us about
Yes.
your journey?
I wouldn't be able to do it without that book.
Tell us about it.
It's a bullet journal. That's all it is. I have 3 goals a day, which are action steps towards my quarterly goals, which are action steps for my yearly goals.
So you take like your big goal for the year, break it down in the
Which
quarters.
is the loftiest dream I can come up with,
Right.
right? And then I break it down into 4 steps, and then I break it down into like 12 steps, and then I break it down into 24 steps. Like I I basically make progress hitting benchmarks on a regular basis throughout the quarter. And I do the 12-week year, which so that's my quarterly system is 12 weeks, and then the 13th week I have off. 12-week year is really about changing your work ethic in a way that will make you addicted to working. And the way to avoid burnout is by that 13th week.
So you're giving yourselves little dopamine hits with every small goal that you've achieved. You're like, ooh, made another one. Ooh, made another one. And the next thing you know, 4 quarters have gone by,
and I have a product at the end of the year, like a goal that I have met at the end of the year.
That's dope. And if you're doing the math, that's 12 weeks, 4 quarters, that's 48 weeks, and then 4 weeks off, that's 52 weeks. Like the math does check out. Like it does. I'm a math nerd. So obviously horror is your jam, right? While we do our show. What else do you enjoy reading?
Oh my God. I mostly try to read horror. I've been very disappointed by the horror stuff in the leaderboards the last few years. So I'm really looking towards independent authors this year, I think. I like to read urban fantasy, like Dresden Files, like Anita Blake in her early years, before she became an erotica writer. Laurel K. Hamilton, I mean.
Gotcha.
So Sunglasses After Dark, Never Ending Story. Never Ending Story is one of those books that I read like once or twice, like once every like couple years,
Right.
because it's making a very clear message about prioritization and your best efforts blowing up in your face. So it's German, like of course it's going to be about shit blowing up in your face. So yeah, so that is I mean, like when I was younger, I read Heinlein, I read Mark Twain, I read Lewis Carroll, and the Toad and the I can't remember.
I feel like I know what book. The one with the frog in like the suit. I remember
Mr.
that one.
Toad.
I don't remember what it's called. Yeah. I remember. I can envision the cover. Like
the illustrations. Yeah.
Was it like a grasshopper or something like that? Or
it wasn't a grasshopper.
I remember.
There was a grasshopper in the story, though. Yeah.
That might be what I'm thinking about. So you don't just write. I always pick on you by doing 1,000,001 things.
I try to.
That's just how much I respect you. That's why I always pick on you about your 75 million different shows that you do a week, because I have so much respect for you and everything you do. You're also a photographer. You were showing off your dope ass camera a little while ago. What got you into photography?
When I was in my early 20s, I joined Suicide Girls, and my boyfriend at the time gifted me my first camera, my first digital camera. and was like, well, if you're going to do the journaling thing and have photos in your articles and stuff like that, then you're going to need a camera. So here's a camera.
That makes sense.
And I started taking photos for my friends and processing them in Photoshop, and imitating old film was kind of my jam. So it's a digital photo, but it looks like it was shot with a 35 millimeter, right?
Gotcha.
So I got really into that sort of thing before filters, before stuff like that in Facebook and Insta and TikTok and whatnot. It just wasn't like that.
What do you find the most enjoyable from having a camera in your hand? Is it like taking pictures of events, taking pictures of people, taking a picture of nature?
I like taking pictures of people interacting in a new place. If I can hit those 3 things in one picture, I am super happy.
Can you describe the best picture you've ever taken?
Oh man.
You good?
Yes. I probably should stop anyway.
Huh? Oh, okay. Because you said you hit me with the oh man. I was just like, what happened?
Oh, it needs charging.
All right. So did you have a favorite picture and you just don't know how, or you just can't pick one, or?
I can't pick one. I have a portfolio, and I do a lot of concept work recently, within the last like 5 years. I did a horror themed pinup
Okay.
book that I shot a couple years ago. I think that was my last project that I did, and I kind of do them every once in a while with a new client, because they want to do something that they're not. They want to do something witchy, or they want to do something horror oriented, or so I like doing year-long projects, where I get to be really conceptual. Like I did Witches of America, which was super fun, and really prolific. Uh, and I still do shoots in that style. I did I did fantasy creatures in mundane situations.
Okay.
So, like an angel at the grocery store, or a satyr in a suit and dress shirt, like with his coffee, getting ready to work a tech job. Like, it was super fun, and there was a third that I can't remember now. Yeah, I can't. Maybe I haven't been doing it that long. I do like a year-long project, and then I take a couple of years off, and then do a year-long project and take a couple of years off. Right. So, more so to give my models a break, like, because I schedule throughout the year as
Mhm.
opposed to, um, like in a bulk. No, how do I put this? I hmm.
you spread it out instead of like having like one big shoot where you do all of it at once, and a lot of
Right.
stress that comes into that. So being able to break it
So
down,
lots of scheduling, like a couple of months,
yeah,
basically. I want to do at least one set a month.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. If I do more than that, then cool.
really big question. This is going to be really helpful to anyone who watches this. How do you handle criticism?
Anything that makes me better. In fact, yesterday I got some critique regarding pictures I had taken in the past for the con,
Hmm.
and she is going to be the new chair, and she wants pictures to use as promotion. And so this year is particularly important. We have multiple photographers though, so I'm not the only one shooting this time.
All right.
I'm sorry, did I answer the question?
I mean, I guess so in a way. I mean, you handle it by learning from it and growing and trying to use
I
whatever
grow from it, yeah.
that makes.
Like when I was learning how to draw, I would take it to my dad and say, "What's wrong with it?" And he would tell me all the ways that I could fix it. I would go redraw the picture with all of his comments in mind, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, that looks great." Um, so that's one of the reasons why he wanted to send me to school.
That makes sense. That's honestly the only real way to take criticism in my book. If you're gonna do
Ideally, yeah.
if you're gonna do this in any way, shape, or form, if you're gonna uh, be a writer, be a photographer, be a musician, be a pro wrestler, whatever, you got to learn to take the criticism, see what you did wrong, and use it to develop and grow and be better. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not growing, then what are you doing?
I
Uh, what else is
I
this
need
thing?
to plug in, so give me like 2 seconds.
Okay, that gives me a chance to tell everybody that if you're watching this, don't know what platform this will be on, but whatever shows us that you like us, do that thing. Whatever applies to the platform that this is on. If that's a like or a heart or an emoji of some sort. You can throw comments on there. Make sure they're respectful. Um, if it's a tip, feel free to tip us. We split it. Um, I don't know like what platform this will end up on. So whatever applies to wherever we are, do the things. See how I'm the doer of things? I need you to be the doer of things and to do you know, the things. This is cream soda, by the way.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Cream.
I'm here. I'm jealous of your A&W. I might break out one of the 2 liters and pour myself a drink. It might be kind of flat by tomorrow, but
It's fine.
it's
Just
fine.
crack it open, pour yourself a little bit, close it back, give it a little shake. You'll be fine. That works, doesn't it?
Or something.
Let's see if we have any more good questions from this website. I forgot to look at it for a while.
You were
Like,
going to ask me something when I ran off to get a power supply.
I don't remember what it was.
Oh, cool.
See, this is what people will learn. We have terrible memories,
Yeah.
and we legit lose things that quickly. That quickly happens.
All
So,
right.
I will ask, what's your favorite food?
Shrimp curry. Indian in nature over saffron rice.
There you go. Simple as that.
That is my favorite food.
So I'll go and I'll ask you like a really cliche question. If you could go back in time
Oh God.
to 20-year-old Sako,
Okay.
what advice would you give 20-year-old Sako?
It is
Knowing what
not.
you know now.
It is not part of your job to be submissive to your significant other.
That is important. I think that applies to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. 20-year-old Sako was subjected to some really ridiculous shit. And she put up with a lot, and there was no need to.
That's why it's 20-year-old Sako, not present day Sako.
Yes.
So, in conclusion, what is your favorite thing about Sako today? What do you love about you the most?
I love napping. I love, like, I didn't have naps when I was younger, right? So I reached like 20 and was like, naps are great, especially when I don't sleep at night.
We just don't. Older people. Old people don't sleep at night.
I am a third generation Buddhist, and those are tenets that I live by, as opposed to like the religion trying to, like, it's not like trivia, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a way of living.
Yeah.
It is a philosophy. It is a collection of teachings, and it makes you open to. It makes you open to, like, listening to new viewpoints, and just being aware about being aware of the world around you, and there is a part of me that is grateful that I went through some of the asshattery that I went through in my youth, because I wouldn't be the person that I am now, and I can help other people.
I like to tell people that you have to, go through the dark to appreciate the light.
My dad, like, told me once that I gotta have bad days to appreciate the good.
Yeah.
And there's a good point to that.
I mean, they don't have to be as dark as some of our days have been, but still, we gotta go through the darkness to get to the light. Gotta have our bad days to appreciate the good. And I guess what that really just boils down to is, yes, bad things will happen, but yes, you can get out of them. Yes, you can get through them. Yes, life can get better after the fact. It's bad today, but it doesn't mean it has to be bad tomorrow.
Indeed.
That's what I got.
If you like this video at any point, I mean, I guess you can like it, if that's an option on the platform that we post this on.
See what I mean?
And
Saying earlier.
yeah. You're already subscribed, otherwise you wouldn't have access to this. And stay tuned for our next episode, where we are ass hats yet again. We will wear our ass hats.
The other hat besides the Omni hat. Switch them.
Well, that is part of the Omni hat, is the ass hat.
Is this? Are you wearing the hat? Had to do it because I hate it. I hate the way this hat looks backwards, or the way I look at it backwards. Oh, it's the
so
worst.
good.
It's the worst.
Oh, that's the ass hat. Oh,
Gotta be ass backwards, right?
oh God, so good. Okay, guys, we'll catch you later.